Then he finishes, that means he graduates. Now he gets a work permit for 3 years, that means he can work for anywhere, anybody in Canada. Is that a good idea? Because we have already seen there are bonus points for people who are experienced in Canada, working experience. Not only he has got points for the degree in Canada, now he's got more points for actually experience in Canada. Among the 3-year work permit, after he has worked for 12 months, 1 year, he can immediately apply for express entry and he will get more points than him staying overseas here. Looks like becoming a student, going to student is a good idea, and it's not surprising that at least about 55 or 60,000 students from India go to Canada every year. There are students going to Australia, there are students going to America, there are students going to everywhere. Canada is taking about, and this numbers is growing every semester. It is important to understand that the Canadian education system is one of the finest in the world. Whenever you will immigrate to Canada, without being a student or after being a student, eventually when you find a job, when you apply for a job, if you have a Canadian degree or diploma, you will have far more advantage than somebody who does not. Don't you agree? Plus you are already living there, you are learning French and English, you are getting to understand how society works, and you are making connections. I know many examples of students in Canada from different parts of India, like New Delhi, Punjab, and other places, who after grade 12, after 10 plus 2, they came to Canada to do a 2-year diploma, not a degree, just a 2-year diploma in anything, business management or computer, anything. After 1 year, they are talking and meeting with these employers, and some employer want to hire them even though they have not completed the course. And the employer say, look, I want you to start working because I need workers and you all seem like a good worker. The student says, no problem. So they withdrew from the university, and then we convert, officially it can be done. Officially the study visa is converted into work visa, and now they are working full-time, making money. Not only making money, but also accumulating work experience in future to go to express entry in the system. So looking at all the advantages, student option is quite a good alternative for people who do not meet the criteria. Back to Hyderabad to meet his parents, and his parents says, look, we have fixed your marriage. Because the whole of Hyderabad knows you are now living in Canada, we have all the arranged marriage offers for you. And he gets married. What happens to the wife? Anybody?
She will stay here, he'll fly away.
Well, let's get your feedback on the microphone.
Without having valid documents, after having marriage, wife will be here and he will fly away. Then
well, that's a typical. Anybody else? Keep trying. Can you pass on the microphone to somebody who wants to try? What will happen to the wife?
Dependent visa.
That's wonderful. And that is what will happen. Thank you very much. While he's a student, the wife will get a work permit. That means the wife can work full-time anywhere while the student is studying, making even more money. Do you get it? And this can work both ways. If the wife is a student, the husband can work. I get a lot of client inquiries from people where their husband and wife already, they are young husband wife, maybe 30 years or 35 years, and the husband and wife come to me and say, what do? I don't get the express entry. I tell them very clear, go to Canada and start studying something. And they ask me, what do I study? Something. I say, you know what, doesn't matter. The husband here is making more money, he has more skills. Why don't you ask your wife to study something? The wife will be a student, while you will get a work permit, you can make more money and support the wife. And make money while both of you are there. The wife can also work part-time, by the way, at the same time, while the husband is working full-time. So double the money. I want to ask you something else. What happens if they have a child here in India?
No expenses.
A microphone, please. Microphone. Where's the microphone? What happens if they have a child in India?
The child can accompany parents.
You are a master of immigration, I think. The child, yes, the child will go with the student. I mean, so think of this. If somebody is around 25, 26, 27, 30, I don't care what the age is. As long as you are reasonably educated and qualified and you get admission in any course in university in Canada, you get the study visa from the visa officer here in Delhi or Bangalore, wherever. Your spouse will go with you, your child will go with you. And guess what? The student is studying in the university by paying fees. What happens to the education of the child?
Free. It's Canada.
You need to come on the station.
You need to come and maybe I need to go and relax there. The children will study free. In India, I know, and many countries, from kindergarten till grade 12, it is very expensive for children to go in so-called public schools and admission and other things and books and computers and stuff. I have 2 children myself in Canada, and I have not paid even a single rupee for the education so far. How about that? Isn't student is a good option for people who lack the background for express entry?
The best one.
Is there any percentage required for applying student?
Well, that's an excellent question. For study visa, the criteria is uniquely different for all universities. So not only universities, but individual courses. I'll give you a short example so that you'll know. One of the best universities in Canada is University of Toronto. If you are applying for MBA in University of Toronto, or you are applying for some other less university which is less popular, the MBA criteria in University of Toronto may be different than somebody who's not very high. So each university will set the criteria for admission uniquely to their own requirements. Same for English also. Some universities and colleges will require high English, some will require low English. So as a student, you have to individually contact the university on the website, online, and look at the requirements. What do they need? They will require your transcripts and bachelor's degree mark sheets and other things, and English and other things. You have to satisfy those things, what they are expecting from you. So there is no set formula that one English requirement will satisfy all the universities everywhere. Technical courses, like somebody from, I think last 2 weeks ago, in India they have examination called NEET, NE something or NE, which is a medical thing. Today I was reading in my hotel, I was reading the newspaper for, I think Times of India or something. I saw big ads in the paper by some consultants who are targeting medical students to go to study in Russia or, I don't know, China or some other countries. They know that getting an admission in medical courses in India is not only very difficult but very expensive. I think typically, for just like you said, for 5 lakhs for engineering or something, a medical school in India is very high cost, right? I mean, we're talking of very, very high cost. That is why these guys are targeting people to send them to Russia or Korea or some other. I saw even going to countries like Africa to study medicine. I'm just thinking, why are you sending people to Africa to become a doctor? If I'm sick in Hyderabad, I don't want any doctor from Africa to treat me who has got a degree from there and come back here. So people will do all kinds of things. But if you do a medical course in Canada, like if you're applying as a student and you're taking admission in medical course in Canada, their requirements, same university. So let's say University of Toronto, the requirements for English for MBA could be 6.5 or 7. I'm just throwing a guess. But same university, if you're applying for a medical course like pharmacy or nursing or medicine or dentistry or something, maybe the English requirement is very high. So the requirements, if you have done your bachelor's degree 10 years ago and after a bachelor's degree you were working for 1 or 2 years, then you dropped out and you're sitting at home, or I don't know, you did something else, and after suddenly you came into touch with some consultants say, okay, you should go to Canada now on study visa. I will be suspicious whether you really are a student or not. That is why gaps are so fearsome in India. All consultants talk about gaps here, and I think, why are they talking of gaps here in India all the time? There's something called bona fide. Maybe I should show you on the website if I can search and show you. Oh, sorry, wrong spell. How does a visa officer decide whether to give the visa or not? A visa officer, typically in places, I don't know about Bangalore, in New Delhi, I think there are close to 15 to 20 visa officers full-time, looking between 50 to 100 applications a day. I think they have very little time to judge any application quickly, so they have to do a quick snapshot whether to approve or not. A study visa application, what you are seeing on the screen is the criteria used by the visa officer to decide whether to give the study visa. Is that a good information? One of the criteria I said earlier was bona fides. It's right here. And the bona fides, you can see, you can read that. The bona fides of the foreign nationals applied will be on the withstand legal okay, so explain to me what the gap is for. Then I am skeptical about your desire to become a student and go to study an MBA course. So you better be clear in your application, in your cover letter or statement of purpose, to show that what were you doing in this gap period, so that I can understand that whatever your goal of studying in Canada is, it meshes well with the gap, and that's all it is. I'll give you some example that because I get these cases on every daily basis and frequently. In India, housewives, all housewives don't work. Like housewife means who's not working. So some girl who was already, I guess, maybe a teacher, a B.Ed degree, and after marriage, she's not working. So husband says no work, and the husband is working, and the wife is qualified, and she is living as a housewife. Good. After 5 years, 6 years, the husband decides, oh, let us go to Canada. Because the consultant says, let us go to Canada. And now the husband and wife are deciding what to do. How do we apply for study visa? And the husband owns a shop. That means a shop, like, a shop that he's not very educated, but his wife is educated. And now they are deciding, how do we decide for study visa, because the husband has no education, so he will not get any study visa criteria because he's not a bona fide anyway. Because the person who has no education in India, how can we expect that he will do education in Canada? So now it comes on the wife. So the wife has the BA and B.Ed, and she has been married already for 5-6 years, but after marriage, no work. So now there's a gap of 6 years. Are you with me?
Yes.
So the wife has a gap of 5 to 6 years, and now the consultant is thinking maybe we can allow the wife to become a student so that the husband can go with her. But what do? Housewife, she was a teacher, but she never worked. After marriage, she's sitting at home making kitchen work, other things. And now the consultant is saying, let's give her any course in Masters of Education program or something so that she can get the visa. So what do you think will happen? Any guess?
Experience.
Pass the microphone. I want to get some real feedback from real people. Don't you think I like this job? I like this
Experience or something like that.
That is good. Just keep the microphone with you. He's very right. Most consultants in India who are not licensed or who malpractice, and they will do wrong things in your application. I have seen these cases, that's what I'm telling you. They will tell the wife, oh wife, don't worry. If you have 5 years gap, we will give you experience certificate. It's fake, of course. That will show that you were working in this as a teacher in this school. People do it all the time. And consultants here think that is the right way to do. That's why I am the big consultant in the big tower with the big office. That is why they give you wrong promises and high promises and make sure that you give them the money. They will make fake certificate, bridging the gap, showing that you have experience. So that's a good. What else can go wrong? Anybody else? Guys, I need some response. I don't want you to go to sleep. Anybody? Are you a teacher? You're not. You look like a teacher to me. Okay. Most of the time, when they do this application, some consultants will even do bad things, like they will even hide the B.Ed. That means they will not even say that she has the degree, or maybe they will make a fake degree. So out of the 5 years, 5 or 6 years gap, they will get a degree of some other master's degree and shorten the gap. Are you with me?
Yes.
So after bachelor's degree, they will put a master's degree in the application, shortening the gap from 6 years to at least 3 years or 4 years. And even that is wrong. That will cause misrepresentation and the application will be blacklisted for 5 years. So people do all these wrong things. Whether something bad has been done or not, the visa officer has to decide whether this housewife who has never worked, who has never been a teacher, and now when she is looking for me to give her a visa, study visa to study teaching, advanced teaching in Canada, how can I believe whether she is a genuine student? That is called bona fides. Do you see bona fides? That is the meaning of bona fides. That means, bona fides means, it's a Latin word that means good intention. I am not confident that the student applicant has good intention to study. That means they are trying to play with the rules. They are not the student, but they are disguising themselves as a student, but eventually they are not a student. I hope you got the answer for the gap. More questions?
As you said,
So,
Oh, I like the 3 questions at the same time. Sure.
as son will travel along with them, what if student completes his education? Will the government allow his wife and son to live in Canada?
Absolutely. How can they separate the husband and wife? Don't forget, as soon as they finish the course, both of them will get the work permit to stay there, and then while they are completing the application for PR and the express entry.
Okay.
The wife will not be separated for sure, I can tell you.
Actually, my sister, she's about to take divorce. So
Uh-huh.
what about if she plans for Canada, study this thing? So she has a daughter. So what about her daughter gets this thing?
Good question. If she is divorced, and if the child is in the custody of the mother, 2 things must happen: a divorce certificate and a custody. You know custody.
Yeah.
That means the mother is responsible for the child, not the husband. Then the mother can take the child with her to Canada on study visa as well.
Again, the gap question is there.
Well, the gap is something else. I'm assuming that she is eligible and she will get the visa. The question is, if she gets the visa, will she leave the child behind or she will go alone? That's the question.
One more thing, sir. Actually, sir said about gap. She computer science, but she was she was a teacher, right? I mean, she was a housewife. So gap of about 3 years. So how come she does this thing?
There is no magic solution with any consultant who can erase the gap or who can fill the gap. The gap is there for whatever reasons, that you have to be honest and open and transparent to the visa officer, saying that we have the gap, but for a variety of reasons. What was that? You ever seen all these welders with the black screen and they do shik? I mean, a lot of welders here, they may be experienced and they may be skilled, but they have no license in Canada. Unless, no matter who you are, wherever you are, when you reach Canada, you have to recertify and get the license again to operate in that strait. I hope that answers the question. Same for doctors. MBBS or MD doctor in India, even if he has 30 years, 40 years experience, even if he's from the best college in India, All India Institute of Medical Science or something, when he goes to Canada, he has to get the license again. I think same in other countries like America, Europe, and everywhere.
Sir, one more thing, like actually I'm also NDT professional, non-destructive testing level 2.
Okay.
So this is aggregated by American Society for Mechanical Engineering, ASME.
Mm-hmm.
So this is overall certified. I mean, if you study in Canada, you need to certify from ASME.
Okay.
So like, if I go with this option, is it possible like I need to get recertified because this is the national international level?
Yeah, what you have to do is you have to contact the provincial testing organization in each place where you want. If you want, I can show it on the screen, but it's only relevant, nobody else will understand. They have their own criteria of, you can challenge the examination and you can apply for license if you have a certain number of hours or years of experience, and then you can challenge the examination. So whether you have American qualification or some other association from some other country, it is of no consequence to them. It may help you in the interview, but otherwise not.
But sir, this thing what I said about NDT,
Mhm.
this also follows with everywhere. Like you need to, if you are living in Dubai or Saudi or Canada or India, this should be satisfied by ASME.
You have to contact the. I can show you on the website if you are. I will show you on for my province where I live. All right. So, but every province is different. Oh, this is not the one. It's here. So I go to welding. Where's welding here? I think if people who are not welding, they might get bored, so I'll be very quick so that you get an idea. It can happen with any province. Welding, where's W? So you see the welder. So you see the welder on the third one. So the requirements to become a welder is very simple here. So it tells me what is a welder, what does the welder do, and saying, and how do we, if I want to work as a welder in Alberta, what do I have to do? And I'll show you. So this is called a qualification certificate based on credential or work experience. So if you have work experience, then you can apply to get a license based on this. I mean, if you look at on the screen, the Traders Qualified Program provides experienced tradespeople with an opportunity to obtain an Alberta trade certificate. So somebody like you, so you don't have a credential, you have a experience. So look at this. If you are an experienced trade person who does not hold a trade credential or blah, 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 everything, then you can do all this. So based on the experience, you can take the examination, you can pass the examination and complete a competency assessment. Once you have everything, they will give you a qualification certificate. That means they will give you a recognition that you are now accredited welder who can work in Canada. And by the way, welders make a lot of money in Canada. By the way,
I am a welding inspector.
well, I'm just giving an example. I know, but we can do a welding.